Welcome, Taurus, to your June Moon Magic Deep Dive Forecast for the Ascendant, the Sun, or the Moon. The month of June has four key lunations, but at the very end of May, the blue moon in Sagittarius on the last day provides a backdrop of energy for the first fortnight of the new month. I'm going to go through that too. The moon is very much about nurture, perceptiveness, our environment. It can be about security. It can also be about where we live, who with and how, and also our family interactions. At the end of the video, you'll have a lunar perspective of what's coming this month in terms of your energy, work, relationships, or finances. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you get to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. But please also click or tap the bell notification symbol. So as we came into this month, the moon in the feisty sign of Sagittarius, a fire sign, very much a truth seeker, and can be a freedom seeker too. But for you, that moon on the 31st of May is in the deep and passionate eighth house. So we've got a bit of a contradiction in terms. If you're very committed and invested in a relationship or a business partnership and it's going well, I don't feel that this full moon will affect it. If, however, you're in a situation where you feel someone's not being as open, very much to do with openness, Sagittarius, or you feel a bit trapped, that's Sagittarius need for freedom, or you may feel a bit perhaps hooked on or attached to a particular lifestyle choice or spending approaches. The moon's asking you to really honestly analyze what you can change. But Mars in your zodiac sign is encouraging you in a quincunx with the moon to be very bold and brave and direct of breaking free from anything which is not really feeding your soul in a positive way. That brings us to the quarter moon of the 8th. It's in the mutable sign of Pisces, very atmospheric and incredibly sensitive. And for you, it's the part of your situation to do with your friendships, but also your higher purpose and long term plan. You could have a big decision to make in the following week. Something that is inspiring you still needs to work in a practical manner, and that means doing the math. So if something isn't quite working for you, the moon squaring up with the sun in the second house of everyday resources. The sun in Gemini can be very nimble, but however much you try to crunch the numbers to fit your hopes, if you are over egging the potential of a situation, you will need to confront that. That brings us to the new moon at the very heart of the month in the quick-witted sign of Gemini. Gemini is a sparkling, effervescent influence, and you can use its personality power and nimbleness if you're discussing any financial matters. But over the next month, it's important to get in touch with your core values and really value yourself, which is what the second house is really about. And the moon, particularly in Taurus, that second house echo, very much about our self-worth. So that's the big opportunity. But we also have a tremendous link between Mars and Mercury, either side of the location of the lunation. So for you, the Mars is in the first house and Mercury is in your third. So being bold, but also being precise with the details of a situation whilst staying in touch with how it feels, but also making sure that you do show a very flexible approach to how you use your resources can make this a particularly effective new moon for you personally. And you could see an improvement over the following 4 weeks of your income. That brings us to the quarter moon of the 21st of June, which is really unique because that day the sun, which is ruled by the moon, moves into its sign of Cancer, and that also ushers in cardinal quadrant 2, the next 13-week quadrant of the year. and very much about nurture, protectiveness, those moon energies. But immediately, the moon is in the sign of balance, of equilibrium, Libra. So that's very much about wanting our relationships to be on an even keel. But the sun is saying, how does that feel? It has to feel right. So that's an important pushback on that moon energy. Which brings us to the full moon, which occurs on the 29th, the very day that Mercury, the planet of communication, goes retrograde for the second time this year, again in a water sign of Cancer, where it will need particular care. And for you, especially around your everyday communications, things like emails and text messages can get blurry with that watery vibe. But because the full moon is in Capricorn, very much the sign of physical culmination, the moon's not happy in Capricorn. It's in its detriment. So if you are having bright-minded conversations, not only is it important to watch the detail with that Mercury energy, it's also important for that ninth house to feel that it's aspiring to what really is your higher purpose. If you're just going through the motions, in other words, if you're earning money for the sake of earning money, rather than doing something that you really enjoy and you can really interact with people in a way which stimulates you, that's the big message of that event as we come to the end of the month. I'm going to summarize those four areas of energy: work, relationships, and finances next, Taurus. But just to say, I've reduced the price of my personal horoscope reports. They were, for many years, buy two, get 30% off. It's now three for the price of one. Why? Because of the cost of living increases. The one you pay for is your life roadmap report. The ones you get three, your 12 months transit forecast and your draconic soul karmic analysis. Please see below for more. If you've yet to watch your June monthly forecast, please check that out on the screen. If you've yet to watch your blue moon deep dive forecast, that's on the screen. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, it'd be an absolute pleasure. Please see my testimonials below. And if you've yet to take advantage of my free daily written horoscope fired to your device each morning, please see the link to sign up. Get your early day celestial pit stop. So to summarize those areas, as far as energy is concerned, one of the things I think you need to be conscious of this month is actually indulging a bit too much. Now, it's a bit of a rich thing, pardon the pun, to offer that suggestion to Taurans who have an innate appreciation of the good things in life. But if you can run a little bit more on the aesthetic side, I think that's going to help you. And just know, with Saturn, the planet of limitation, continuing all month, along with the draining potential energy of Neptune in your psychological 12th house, not only will eating well make you feel better, it also protects that sensitivity that can come from those gathered there. As far as your professional situation is concerned, I think it can be a month of tremendous opportunities for you. I truly do. We're going to have, in the early parts of the month, the Sun and Uranus linking back to Pluto. In fact, Uranus and Pluto continue to get closer together through the rest of this year. But it's going to be later in the month when Mars moves out of your sign and onto Uranus. You could have some brilliant ideas as the month comes to a close, but you do need to be in the moment. Don't analyze them too much. If it feels right, make a decisive move. When it comes to your straightforward financial situation, there could be some unexpected expenses with Uranus in that second house of yours, but I think there's a lot to gain by looking at things in a different way, and most of all, being very open-minded. But as far as your relationship situation is concerned, I think a lot of the benefits that are going to come for you are through communication. But it's not just communication through words, it's communication through feelings. But particularly on the 9th of the month, an absolutely incredible link between Venus, your ruler, and Jupiter is very rare and very, very prodigious. But also through week 2 can be very important. And if you really want to take that step towards someone you really fancy, but it does require a little bit of a leap of faith, it's week 3 when Mars in your sign forges is a brilliant link to Jupiter in Cancer. It's been a pleasure being with you, Taurus. All the best for June. Look forward to seeing you again soon.